fantasy football picks and bet show on the Mayo Media Network. I am your host, Scott Simpson. As always, we are presented by Prize Picks. Sign up for Prize Picks using the link in the description below. Code MMN. It's for the Mayo Media Network. And your deposit gets doubled up to $100. I mean, honestly, I'm still playing with my deposit bonus that I got when I signed up, still cashing in $125 last night, not going to lie. And we call that around here basically free money when they give you that deposit match. I'm really excited to be working with one of my best friends in the industry. I got to say, I love him so much at the end of this year. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to my guy, LQ, the real deal fantasy on Twitter. How are you doing, brother?
What up, Scott, man? Glad to be here, man. Another Tuesday where we have fun and try to win some cash.
Oh, man, our picks are a little fire. You know, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Fire content only. I'm really excited. There's no Thursday games. The NFL went, full Sunday, got a 14-game slate. It's going to be bananas for DraftKings. Everybody's in play. It's going to be an awesome slate. But, they pulled us together. They said, Scott, we need you and LQ. We need to get at least 2 picks from both of you that we can build some money-making stacks around. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of lay down some of our best plays. Now, they don't have all their picks up, but we've scoured and kind of picked out some of ours. I love yours. Hopefully you like mine, and I didn't steal it.
I like yours a lot.
I put mine first in the DM, so I was like, oh, these are my guys.
I looked at your one, and I was like, damn, that is a good one to hit, but we'll talk about it.
No, we will. So, but I'm really excited. But I gotta say, how was your holidays? You recovered yet?
No, there's still boxes, toys, unopened toys, bags, tissue over there. There's a lot that I'm looking at right now that needs to be cleaned up. They don't talk about after Christmas when you got to clean up, but yeah, it was good though.
Oh, that's nice. I saw somebody on the social media network, Instagram, Twitter, something saying this is kind of like the dead week where, you're just kind of like from the holidays. I'm in full relax mode, winter break teacher, doing nothing, laying around, prepping for fantasy football. The last couple of weeks, I cannot wait to get into it. So let's talk Prize Picks. Code MMN for those signing up. That link is in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. Why wouldn't you be, right? Like and subscribe if you're down there. Let me give you one of my picks. I'm not going to give you both. We'll go one for me, one for LQ. We'll go we'll give you even snake draft if you want. Maybe one for me and then 2 for LQ. We can do whatever we want, man. That's the best part. But I'll jump in with my first one. AJ Brown is 69 and a hook. There's no Julio Jones. Maybe not. Well, we'll see. There's Westbrook or Keenan. I don't know. We'll figure out this COVID situation. But even if those guys are both still there, AJ Brown's the man. Like this guy is just unstoppable. I think he gets over 100 in this game, even though, Miami's not terrible, but he's just that much better than everybody else. So what do you think about that? Is it a good play?
Yeah, it's an awesome play, man. I could easily seeing him hit above 80, yards. I feel as though Tannehill's getting comfortable back into his rhythm with, AJ Brown and him had going on last season. So that's definitely, on the table for him to smash this.
Yeah, and it's not like, yesterday Miami going up against a putrid, terrible New Orleans Saints offense with no quarterback to speak of. That's not the case. Ryan Tannehill is a real quarterback. I think that's what we've seen since he left Miami, and I'm sure he's got a little chip on his shoulder still when he goes up against those guys. So I think he'll be at his best. Let me hear your first one because we might still be in the state. I don't know how you're going to lay yours down, but we might not be leaving Miami. Or, we will be leaving Miami, but we're not going to be leaving Florida, possibly.
I'm going to go Antonio Brown, man. His over-under is juicy, 75 and a hook. For the over, I'm going to smash for the simple fact we saw him come back, first game back from COVID/suspension/injury, whatever you want to call it. He came back and put up 100 yards, man. And that's just the chemistry that him and Brady have and the trust. And we're still sitting on, an injured, Mike Evans and then Godwin, unfortunately, out for the season, basically. So there's nobody else really. So Antonio Brown comes in as the volume hog and putting up those yards on the ground, man. He's just very good at football. And also they play the Jets. Like, come on.
Yeah, I'm going to say is a 71.8% boom rate on runthesims.com. Is that good for Antonio Brown? Like it's the highest boom rate I've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
Optimal level of 38%. So even in the fantasy spectrum or the DFS spectrum, I think this guy does hit, right? He's going to smash. I think that's kind of the thought against the Jets. So I love that pick. Why don't you hit your next one up too? Because I saw this one and I blinked. Because I thought this was a joke because he has been playing up against some, defenses and maybe has been showcasing his passing ability, but talk about Jalen Hurts and his number right now.
I mean, Jalen Hurts for 189 and a hook, that is the smash for the over. I understand, in recent times we've seen him hit the under here, but we're talking about Washington. They've been getting smoked. And actually, the last 2 weeks, Jalen Hurts has been, pretty good through the air. He had 495 yards in the last 2 weeks. That's more yards than Aaron Rodgers, than Matt Ryan, than Tom Brady, even Matthew Stafford. So, we're looking at basically a repeat of what happened in that game when he went up against Washington, where he threw for 296. So I definitely see this still being the game plan for, Jalen Hurts this week. So I'm definitely going to smash the over here.
Yeah, I like that play a lot. And, Washington, you saw them devolving on the sidelines. They were not a number one defense this year. They were supposed to be number one. They were touted as one of the best defenses. Drafted. I saw someone draft them in the 10th round of their fantasy league. Stupid.
Yeah, nuts.
Stupid. Never drafted defense at all. I just pick one up off the waiver wire, man. It changes week to week. You know what I mean? It's like a middle school relationship. It's hot, it's cold.
Yeah.
So you never want to fully invest in something like that. And I'll go the other side and say I think he can get over 200, man. Like I think he can do damage. And you saw last week with Devonta Smith, what a great touchdown, a little toe tapping, and what a situation where the ref said no, yes, no, yes. That was just ridiculous. So I do think he gets the over. Yeah. So let me jump in back to mine now. My last one is my guy, Stephon Diggs, 75 and a hook. He's going up against the Atlanta Falcons. And, Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, I thought last week, I'm going to say I made a bad call. I did not think that they were going to be crushing against New England, though. He had 85 yards. He had 13 targets, right? This is his last 3 games, 13, 7, and 13. So, he's getting it in. I think this is another similar game against the Falcons where he gets it in. And from the fantasy point perspective, the Falcons ranked 29th against wide receivers. They're giving up close to 39 points per game. They give up 18 touchdowns, 2,400 yards. So that's the kind of music that I want to hear. I think Stephon Diggs can get you that 75 and a hook. I don't think it's a smash. It's going to take a little something, but Atlanta, I can see Buffalo just putting the beat down on them this weekend for sure.
Yes, sir. For sure.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so those are our prize picks. Do stay tuned all week on the Mayo Media Network. There is content coming. I'm sure there'll be other showcases of other prize picks. Build your little stack. If you want to be comfortable, go for 3 plays, right? You put in $50. If you lose, you still get a little bit of money. You actually win if you lose one game, right? So play those kind of built those stacks that are going to give you like a most bang for your buck. Last night, I went 2 for 3. So I still made some money. And it's a great way to do it with prize picks. They give you the value for your money. You don't lose it all, which is a really cool feature. So nothing else is like that in the game. You don't got to be perfect every night. I mean, we normally are, of course, but if you're not, you get a little bit of redemption, which I appreciate. So code MMN, smash that and get in there. So, all right, let's talk some, this is a start sit situation here. I've got some like, gold and then some like rubbish. Cause in these situations, you don't know what's going to happen. A lot of people are not where they were supposed to be because last week was terrible. I saw number 1 seed just go down. I got into the championship round against the number 1 seed in a kind of league amongst the experts. And I couldn't believe it because I was not favored to even get in the playoffs. And I'm in the championship game against Joe Bond. So shout out that Crab Cakes League. I'm really excited to beat Joe Bond. But anyway, it's a situation where you might have somebody like Tom Brady, or you might have somebody like Josh Allen against Atlanta. Who do you want? Tom Brady versus the Jets or Josh Allen against Atlanta this week? How would you play that matchup?
It's hard because the last 2 weeks, man, Brady has been looking sus only because he's missing Mike Evans. He's missing Godwin, but he still has AB. But I don't know if AB is enough to make Brady like a top-notch fantasy relevant guy versus Josh Allen, who has the favorable matchup. So honestly, when you have guys like, Davis Mills, QB 15 the last 2 weeks, and then Tom Brady at the bottom of the table, that's a weird stat to look at. So right now, I'm going to start with Josh Allen versus Atlanta over Tom Brady versus Jets.
I love that. I also love the rushing upside that Josh Allen gives you. It's a game changer for me. It tilts you in that direction. So that was the feast. Let's talk a little famine, right? And not to be mean to Russell Wilson, but he has been famine a little bit lately. Jared Goff, more feast than famine. What do you think? Jared Goff versus Seattle or Russell Wilson versus Detroit? Who wins this matchup? Who gets the most points out of these two quarterbacks? If you're dumpster diving, which in one team, I actually do have Russell Wilson. So,
man, it's crazy because Jared Goff has actually been playing good these last couple of weeks. I mean, he didn't play last week because he was on the COVID list, but those 2 weeks, 3 weeks, he's been actually picking it up. And it's honestly because Swift and Hawk are out, which is weird. He's not forcing the ball downfield to Hawkinson, and he's not just simply checking the ball down to Swift. So I feel as though, Jared Goff versus Seattle could be interesting. He kind of has their number, being that he's a Ram, former Ram, I should say. But I'm honestly leaning towards Russell Wilson based on I'm not too sure how, Jared Goff's going to come out the gate. So this is one of those flip a coin situations, but Detroit's defense is absolutely terrible. So unfortunately, give me Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you know what? I went with him last week, and he only got you 16 points.
Yeah.
But this week I said I went back to him in the Fantasy Millionaire show. I said I'm going back. I'm doing it again. I'm Russell Wilsoning it up. And, I think Tyler Lockett, a week healthier, just coming off of COVID, looked like DK Metcalf and him are friends. You got to think last week with Russell, it was in the snow, right? The snow game just changes everything.
Yeah.
And despite that, he still got touchdown, deep touchdown to Metcalf. So I like this call right here. Let's jump into some running back banter. Talk about one of the best running offenses in the league this year. Last half of the season has been the Philadelphia Eagles. Now we got a situation where Miles Sanders broke his hand. He's out, right? And then Howard is questionable with a stinger. He's got a little neck issue, which it's not good when you're a bang it up, hit him down low goal line running back. You see Boston Scott there. Is he a must start? Is Boston Scott somebody you're going to trust with that championship, trophy hanging in the balance? Is he a flex? Is he an RB2? How are you valuing him this week?
He's definitely a flex. I definitely will be looking at other options, but then again, he's going against Washington. And if you're hurting that running back, I mean, I don't see why not. Just weigh out your options. Don't get cute here just because, you see 2 other guys out. Maybe, the Eagles actually have a more balanced, less run heavy, offense going into this game plan. Because like I said, we saw Hurts put up 269 last time they faced Washington 2 weeks ago. So it could be very, balanced game out, but it's tough, man. But he's definitely a flex, nothing more.
No, I appreciate that. That's for me personally in one of my championship games. LQ's always helped me out here. All right, so here's a question. Last week, Melvin Gordon. Oh my gosh, he went back to first season Melvin Gordon, right? Can fantasy managers trust him now this week? Going up against the Chargers or no?
Yeah, man, you got to trust them. Chargers are absolutely dreadful at stopping the run, so you gotta lean on Melvin Gordon trying to get his revenge. And I feel as though Melvin Gordon, you got to run until the wheels go off. You didn't pay that much in the beginning of the season to get him on your team, so this is the situation where you don't get cute and you just start your studs, man.
Yeah, I think one bad game doesn't mean it's over for people. I do say that Drew Lock is ruining that offense. So that is the only thing I would say. All right, let's talk about something that's a little bit better, right? I think this is an upside play. I just wanted to leave something juicy. Darrell Williams for the Kansas City Chiefs. We're looking at Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Not sure how he's going to recover from that shoulder injury. Quick turnaround a week, but still you got a shoulder. You're going to be lowering it. You're going to be going down below. Yeah. What do you think about him or Sony Michel versus the Ravens, man?
I'm going to full send Williams. I'm not liking Sony against Baltimore. Baltimore is a stud defense, stop the run. I like the passing attack better for the Rams this matchup. So I'm going to lean on Williams, having that full workload. And we honestly seen a lot of flashes from him when CEH was out. So I definitely like in this play versus Cincinnati.
I like that as well. I think this is a nice up-tempo, high-scoring game. You see what Joe Burrow can do. Now, it's not going to be 500 yards. I mean, that's insane.
He does it again. Jesus.
I know, and what? But it's a 49-point total. You like that, right? You want the 40 tops. That's what you want, So, all right. Now let's jump to a little bit of wide receiver talk here now. Now, I know that we had a little change in the COVID protocol that is impacting some of these players who are on the COVID list. Carson Wentz just went on today. 5-day turnaround compared to a 10-day. Not sure if he's going to be able to get off in time, but maybe he can. If he doesn't go, can you trust Michael Pittman? And then if he does go, are you going Michael Pittman or are you looking T.Y. Hilton? How are you kind of balancing the attack now that T.Y.'s back?
I'm actually liking the emergence of T.Y. Hilton. Michael Pittman, like I said, he's one of those stud guys, man. You can't get cute here. The volume is there for him, and he has a lot of upside. Carson Wentz, I definitely believe he'll be able to clear, but if he doesn't for some reason, out of, any type of new protocol that pops up on Saturday, I definitely, wouldn't be trying to start Pittman. I would try to pivot to other options that are out there.
No, good call. All right, let me ask you another question. Kind of down in the last, pickups last couple of weeks. Isaiah McKenzie, been doing a good job. He got a couple touchdowns. I like him. I'm not gonna lie. He's going up against Atlanta, or I think Rashad Perriman's coming off the COVID list against the Jets. He's a big stud wide receiver. Not that Antonio Brown isn't there, but I mean he showed what he could do a couple years ago when he was the only guy on the outside. Where Antonio Brown kind of worked the whole field. Which one of these guys would you lean to if you wanted the most bang for your buck this week?
I'm going Isaiah, man. I'm definitely going to lean on McKenzie, him having a career game last week and a ton of fantasy points. I believe it was like 29 fantasy points or something like that. But, man, he definitely has a matchup favorable going against Atlanta. And like you said before, man, they're ranked 29th in points allowed to wide receivers for fantasy. So you got to full send that.
Fire content only, full send. I love it. All right, let's jump to the tight ends. This is a question, right? Maybe you're not in a position to win it with Kyle Pitts because he didn't get you there, but maybe you do, right? Do you start Kyle Pitts versus Buffalo? They give up about 7.7 fantasy points per game to the tight end position. Not that that matters all that much, but what do you think about Buffalo this week against Atlanta?
Oh, man. I mean, I feel as though I've been holding my tongue on Kyle Pitts all season. I kind of avoided at all costs for any tweets or any videos about him, but the man ain't getting touchdowns. That's what it comes down to. He has the volume, but we care about touchdowns when we come to our tight ends. And honestly, I've been pivoting from every conversation, every debate from Kyle Pitts. So I do not like him going against Buffalo. Buffalo's a tough defense. 7 points isn't enough for a guy that's supposed to be the number one target on the team. I'm kind of just looking elsewhere. But then again, you're in a situation. Who you sitting Pitts for?
Right. Yeah, maybe the next guy, Gerald Everett, somebody you can pick up. He's had the same amount of points as Dawson Knox the last couple weeks, if you ever get out. So what do you think this week, pivoting there to Gerald Everett versus the Detroit Lions, or Tyler Higbee versus Baltimore? Higbee, by the way, available in 35% of ESPN leagues, something like that. Wild. But he's available. He was on the COVID list, injured, hurt, all stuff. Now he's back. Which one of these guys you're going to? These guys are ex-teammates. So there's a little bit more of an intrigue. I did this on purpose.
Yeah. It's funny, man, because everybody was talking Tyler Higbee all off season. Oh, Gerald Everett's gone. It's gone. But come to find out, Tyler Higbee is still playing like Tyler Higbee as if Gerald Everett's there. So, yeah, that's embarrassing. But anyway, I'm just going to full send Gerald Everett, man. I like his touchdown upside. I like that the chemistry him and Russell Wilson are building, even though it's a 1-year rental. I definitely feel as though he has a more tight end friendly offense versus, the Rams, who have a Odell Beckham, who have Van Jefferson, who has obviously Cooper Kupp, who's breaking records and making career, highs. And I definitely feel as though Tyler Higbee, he's good for 4 catches. Maybe that's a high. Maybe let's say 8 points. I'm looking for Gerald Everett that can give me a touchdown to get me up there 12 to 15 points in championship time.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I think I have him on a lot of best ball teams, so I'm hoping he can bring me some cash next week and then the following week as well. All right, let's transition. That was all brought to you, by the way, by PrizePicks. So go sign for PrizePicks. MMN is the code. We always talk about it. If you don't know it by now, please. It's tattooed. We got the tattoo on our,
right,
tattoo.
Right on my neck.
Yeah, right. It's a teardrop. It's really small. You can't see it because we've been killing it this year. Anyway, let's talk some, unfortunately, the injury report, the COVID report, there's a lot of fluidity here. So we're not going to, nail things down and say don't, or, please check in at the end of the week. But we do. Some people are done for the season. James Robinson, Achilles, terrible. So you finally got freed. You finally went through all that. And then boom, you're out in one of the best matchups against the Jets. That just broke my heart for him and for, the fantasy managers and everybody else who was just enjoying James Robinson's season for the week. And then your guy over there, not your guy, but for the Rams, Darrell Henderson, he's down. He's out for the season, kind of opening away from Michelle, and maybe Cam Akers will touch on that in a second. Yeah. And then we talked about before, Miles Sanders is out and with a broken hand. And now comes the COVID situation. So, LQ, we kind of talked a little bit before the show. Let's speculate here. Previously, it was 10 days, and we knew a lot of these guys, Cole Beasley, Gabe Davis, Mike Williams, other people, maybe David Johnson, they were going to miss a certain amount of time given the windows and whether they were vaccinated or however it works with their exposures and the NFL protocol. Now, the CDC decided they changed the guidelines, and now it's 5 days. What do you think this means? Does this mean almost everybody, even of right now on Tuesday, is going to be back no matter what their status is? Or how are we kind of approaching this?
I'm not too sure, man, because You got some guys that are unvaccinated that were said to miss about 2 games. And then it's like you have guys like Carson Wentz, Mike Williams that are being said it's now 5 days and you might make it back to the Sunday game if, you're good to go, no symptoms. But it's like, it's a little wishy-washy because like we were told one thing and then the next week it changes. So who knows what happens Saturday? Maybe they change it back to 10. You know what I mean? So some of these guys, man, could be coming back. And that can definitely have impact on Isaiah McKenzie, like we spoke about with Gabe Davis and Cole Beasley being out already. They already missed 1 game, so it's kind of like, does this new protocol apply to them? So we shall see.
A lot of nebulous, but I would say that this is America right now, not just the NFL. So, but people on the list. Let's just kind of give you the list of who has been, listed on the NFL protocol list as having COVID. Carson Wentz, Cole Beasley, Gabe Davis, Josh Reynolds for Detroit, Mike Williams for the Chargers, David Johnson, Houston, Rashad Perryman. I think he's coming off the list though. Ramondre Stevenson, MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, nailed it. Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Westbrook-Ikhine. So a lot of the big names are there in that protocol. So pay attention to all of them if they're on your roster, or if you're playing them in DFS, or if you're going to be, doing bets on, or plays on, the prize pick. So all those are in play. Let's talk about some questionable friends now and what we think is going to happen with them. I'll just start off with Teddy Bridgewater. He's listed as questionable, but he's still in the concussion protocol with no updates on his health. Do you think he plays this week or no?
Nah, man, he got carted off. So I think he's pretty much done. They're just going to rock with Drew Lock until Lock breaks. So it feels though Teddy just is about to take an official backup job right now.
Yeah, no, it's like no news is bad news, not good news. So yeah, no, I'm with you. Speaking of those, transition to good news. Projected to practice tomorrow. It's Tuesday right now. We're recording on Tuesday. I'm not going to lie. Wednesday, Lamar Jackson. What do you think? Does he get back in the game this week?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely need him to come back. I feel as though if he feels as though he's healthy and he's good for the team, he's not going to hurt the team because obviously they want to make like some type of wild card push or playoff push. So I definitely think if he's good to go, he's going to play.
Yeah, no, I think as well. Let's talk about somebody who looks like they might not play. Questionable officially, though. We believe the coaches, right? Particularly guys like, Shanahan. Never lie, Shanahan, they call him, right? Oh, always never tell the truth, Shanahan. One of those, I forget. Jimmy G sustained a UCL tear and a fracture to his right thumb. Looks like he's not going to be going. Trey Lance, is he a full send this week? Can you throw him into your lineup in any format? What are you doing?
Super flex, you could. I honestly think, the rushing ability is there. But I doubt that, Jimmy G is going to be playing with all these injuries and how serious it is to the hand as well. So, we'll send Trey Lance.
Yeah, no, I love it. 4,800 on DraftKings. I think that's a nice little cash, little sneaky punt play if you want to fill up your lineup with other studs. So let's talk about some of those other studs. We got 2 Vikings, particularly Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen, both questionable. Mike Zimmer, a hopeful guy now. He's dating a supermodel, I guess, in his own eyes, some type of model. He's dating her and he's very happy. He thinks that Dalvin Cook will be back. He's also, just said, hey, Adam Thielen's a little sore. Just a little sore. We all saw him on the ground banging his fists in rage of pain, but yeah, just a little sore. Do you think either one of them comes back? Neither one of them, one or the other? How do you play these guys?
You just got to keep an eye on Thielen all week, man, to actually see how sore he is. I know he said he's hopeful, but man, I think Adam Thielen's a little banged up to where he's not going to be able to play 100% or even close to 70%, in football terms. But Dalvin Cook has a chance. He has a chance coming back. I could see him, just fighting it out and just basically playing and killing it for like 250 yards.
I hope so. I really do hope so. It's the Packers, right? You got to go full send against the Packers. So. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about somebody who, you might know a little bit more about being plugged into the Rams nation over there. Cam Akers, officially questionable. Does he actually play this regular season, or do you think he comes out in the playoffs? How do they manage him coming back?
This is what's crazy about Sean McVay. It's going to depend on how the game is going. He gets a little desperate. So you might see some carries out of Akers, but it's not needed, honestly. He does not need to play in this game. I don't care if we're, need this game in the last second of the play type ordeal and Akers can score. I don't need to see Akers in a regular season game. I honestly rather have him in the playoffs where it matters, and just you don't want to have any setbacks or any delays in his full recovery because we need him next season.
Yeah. Now, I think long-term, of course, NFL, it's not for long. So the long-term and not for long don't really work together. But, what are you going to do? I'm with you on that. I think that's the way to play it. Speaking of somebody who's not for long, now they're back. Maybe they're not back with an injury. Jordan Howard, he's looking like he might miss the game. Pay attention to Gainwell, Boston Scott, see what happens there. Elijah Mitchell with his knee, still not back. It's been a couple of weeks. What do you think? Do you think he makes it back, or is it a Jeff Wilson week, or are we just going Trey Lance eating up all the touchdowns, all the carries, all that kind of stuff?
It might be one of those situations where it's Jeff Wilson / Trey Lance. I think Mitchell, he'll probably play, but he'll be eased in. If anything, I don't look at him as a solid, fantasy play this week. It's a little risky business. Again, don't get cute.
Yeah, and then also you got Debo running out of the backfield every once in a while too. So, yeah, it's a wild situation over there. A couple other players who are questionable. We're going like a running back binge right now. Kareem Hunt did not practice. He's still questionable. Pay attention to him. DeAndre Swift, they're hopeful with his shoulder. He will be back. What do you think about DeAndre Swift? Is it worth coming back? Is it something where you get just rest up? I mean, how do you approach this?
Why? What are you coming back to? Like no playoffs. You're probably going to lose. Like you're just basically putting them at risk for further long injury that can lead into the offseason, into the next season. So scrap him for the rest of the season if you're asking me.
Yeah, I want to see what Reynolds can do anyway. So let's just have some fun.
Develop your future, man. Develop the young players. Put them out there, see what they can do.
Yeah. Speaking of bruised shoulder, say that 3 times fast. CEH Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he has a bruised shoulder. He was out of the game last week. Pay attention to that. I do like Darrell Williams this week a lot as a secret play, 5,800, 5,700, something like that. I think he's worth a play on DK. So watch that. James Conner as well. Questionable. Do you think James Conner goes? Do they need him to go against Dallas? I mean, it's going to be a big game.
It's going to be a big game. I feel as though if he's healthy to play, he's going to play, but you just got to keep an eye on that all week to see what happens there with that situation.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Rondell Moore, questionable. Pay attention to him. I mean, he's kind of been phased out of the offense a little bit anyway, but, Christian Kirk and AJ Green are the men there, the guys, the boys, whatever you want to say. On to tight ends, we've got some questionable big names here, which, good and bad. Looks like Travis Kelce, questionable officially, but he should be good to go. Hopefully no lingering side effects. Darren Waller, questionable. Do you think he plays, or is it still Hunter Renfrow season?
It might be Renfrow season. Darren Waller, man, it's just unfortunate, with the injuries basically catching up to him. I'm looking forward to 2022 for him, but I'm not too sure if he plays this week.
Yeah, I don't think you need it, honestly.
No.
But we'll see. And then last but not least, Pat Freiermuth. I'm a big fan of him. I like his physicality, but 2 concussions in a 5-game span, that's not good. I don't think he's cleared the protocol. Do you think he plays this week, or they just shelf him for now?
Nah, he's shelved for sure. They're not going to risk anything with that.
Yeah, you don't want a situation where your pick from the last season is already out, and has injuries, and you don't want a Jordan Reed situation to develop at all. So please keep him healthy. All right. This has been great, LQ. I love this. I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be able to keep this going. I mean, it's one of my favorite things to do every Tuesday, but the season is winding down. So stay tuned. We'll kind of keep you updated on the news here at the Mayo Media Network. I'm super excited to work with you, to work for Pat, to work with Pete, to work with everybody else, Stepmom Lauren, everybody behind the scenes. Sean, shout out, Sean. Appreciate all the work that you've done, and everybody else, Josh and Matt, and everybody else we've been able to work with this year. It has been tremendous. Thank you so much. I got some nice scotch from Pat. I got some nice new scotch glasses. So LQ, one of these days when the COVID situation is over, we'll have to get together, have a little dram, talk, bullshit, talk about fantasy football and all the things that go with it. I appreciate you this year, man. Thank you so much for being my podcast partner.
Oh yeah, man. Full sending, man. 2022, we got special things coming, man, especially from Mayo Media. So I'm ready for the full send, and cheers, brother.
Yeah. Where can people find you, your work? I know that you're always killing it. You got the fire content only. Where are you burning it?
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to steal that. But you can find me over at Downtown Rams. I have an article coming out tomorrow morning. Hopefully it's useful for your fantasy championships and for 2022. But Real Deal Fantasy on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, of course, and even on Facebook, man, you might find me.
I like it. I'm Nimble W Numbers. I'm on the tweeters, as they say. I'm on YouTube as well. I'm also a Fantasy Millionaire. You can find me on YouTube as a Fantasy Millionaire as well. I write for the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And then also I do Chalk Block every Saturday at 10 o'clock. We're doing a show this year for New Year's. We're going to go through about an hour on the slate. You know, we're not going to have party, not too hardy. And we'll just talk football. Maybe, Bo will kiss me. I know he's living across the country. He can't kiss me. No, virtual kiss from Bo. But I'm really excited. And then tomorrow, man, I get to go on with Joe Pisapia over at the Fantasy Pros and do a little talk and represent the Mayo Media Network. You know, for sure, I'll shout you out, LQ, over there. So listen for me there, and talking DFS, right? We're talking all the plays, and that's what, I love. That's my wheelhouse is DFS. So do please check out all those things and subscribe here to the Mayo Media Network on YouTube, like all those things, and sign up for Prize Picks code MMN. If I don't see it, have a great New Year's, my brother, and peace to everybody out there listening. We appreciate you so much.
Peace.